Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope the weekend was fantastic. Today's live. The topic is, or title I should say, is here's what no one tells you about working out after the age of 35. And I'm sharing this because it is near and dear to my heart. And I know there's a few of you who are quite similar in your thinking to myself. And there's some of you who are only doing the nutrition mindset portion, and they are doing their own training that I'm not creating for them. And so the day I realized my workouts were making me worse, not better, is when I felt I was doing everything quote unquote right. I was going to the gym 5, sometimes 6 days a week, doing strength training predominantly, adding in some cardio, whether it was the elliptical or an incline walk or the Stepmaster. I was going to spin classes. I was running the River Valley stairs. I was walking 10,000, 12,000, sometimes 15,000 steps per day. And I was pushing myself even harder because the scale wouldn't budge. I was actually getting more inflamed, more puffy, and dealing with a whackload of other symptoms as well. Insomnia, like fatigue, moodiness. I could cry at the drop of a hat. And obviously, looking back, I now know that I was approaching things completely incorrectly. And what I was doing in my teens, my 20s, my early 30s was no longer working for me. Instead of getting stronger, I was getting more exhausted. Instead of losing weight, I was getting more inflamed. My cortisol was through the roof, and I was just burning myself into the ground. And here's what nobody tells you about working out, in and around that mid-30s into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, is that your body does not respond the same way that it used to in your younger years. Those intense cardio sessions that used to give you energy, they're now just adding to the stress, to an already overwhelmed system. We just have so much more on our plates in midlife, and our hormones are shifting, and that is having an impact on us way more than my naive self knew even just a few years ago. Your declining hormones means that you are recovering slower, so you need more intentional rest days, and your stress tolerance is just lower. And of course, your metabolism is somewhat shifting as well, partly due to declining muscle mass in and around our mid-30s and upwards. So I learned this the hard way when I crashed really, really hard from overtraining, that I actually ended up with something called cellular hypothyroid. Blood work was all good, and I'm sure some of you can relate if you go into the doctor's office and you're like, nothing's wrong, your blood work is all good. It's only when I ran the HTMA test that I realized I was depleted, completely depleted. My calcium was out of whack. My body had completely started to shut down and create a shell, in essence, to slow down processes in my body as a way to protect me. But here's the beautiful part. When I shifted how and how much I was moving my body, everything changed. Instead of punishing workouts, now I focus on, of course, strength training to preserve muscle. My whole mindset had to change when it came to workout. Instead of like burning as many calories as possible and sweating as much as possible, to just becoming my strongest, most mobile self. I continued to walk because, of course, walking is, I think, one of the most underrated things that you can do for your health, your well-being, your mental health. It, of course, is easy on the joints. You can do it absolutely anywhere. You do not need equipment. Yeah, I can't talk enough about walking. And my workouts, I shortened them in terms of like how many exercises I was doing. I used to like pack my workouts with like 8, 10, 12 different exercises, completely exhaust myself and think that I was doing myself good. Your workout should make you feel good, strong, energized, ready to take on the day. Another thing that I shifted hugely was focusing on mobility and stretching / yoga. This is not something that I thought was beneficial to me. And I'm saying this because I know I've had these conversations with some of you where you're like, I just don't feel like yoga is doing anything. It's hard for me to do yoga. I'm not sweating. I don't feel like I'm pushing my body. But we need to. It's like, it's not an option. Recovery, stretching, mobility, it is a necessity when we get older. And I have to say, like, I used to have chronic aches and pains. I used to have to go see the massage therapist every 2 weeks, just thinking that that's what I had to do. But I was actually like abusing my body. I would wake up at least once a month and like not be able to turn my head because I had so much tension in my neck muscles. So I really started focusing on 3 strength training sessions a week, 45 minutes. That includes about 10 minutes of mobility, then strength, and then a cool down. I have now increased that to 4 because I'm so dialed in with my 3 sessions that I just feel best doing 2 upper and 2 lower for a total of 4 sessions. I do some type of mobility or stretching, I would say almost every day. Yoga is at least once a week. I've cut down on going to classes. They just keep increasing their rates. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this at home. I am committed enough to my health to be doing it at home. So I go once a week. I used to go 3, but I just do a lot more mobility snacks is what I like to call them throughout the day, where I will just stretch, do some down dogs, whatever it is I feel like my body needs. My glutes, my legs have been super sore, so I've been focusing on doing a little bit of that. And the result is like I finally started feeling strong again. My energy came back, inflammation decreased, my body composition improved. And that's the beauty thing about that scale that I have, that Hume scale, is that you can now see, or I can now see, how my body is shifting from a composition standpoint without obsessing about the number on the scale. I'm getting so much more data, and for that has been so freeing for my mental health, because I'm much more concerned with what I am made out of versus that number reflecting back at me that doesn't say how much body fat I have, how much muscle mass I have, how much water, of course, all these other cool stats as well. So I guess the shift for me is that like movement in, let's call it midlife, isn't about burning calories or punishing yourself. It's about supporting your changing hormones, but what your body is capable of doing, and of course maintaining or even increasing your vitality. So your workouts should in essence like make you feel more alive and well and energized and in a good mood, as opposed to feeling like you need a 3-day recovery or spa day. So if you have any questions about how to approach your workouts or what that should look like for you, I am, of course, an open book. And I guess I'll leave it at that. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.